Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. My name is Fejiro, and I want to talk about my fibroid and my chalk cravings experience. Edible chalk, unzu ulo. Yes, they come together, they are connected with fibroid, and I'll explain how that is during the course of this video. Although not everyone who has fibroid craves chalk, we all have different experience. Like my own sister, she had swollen legs. But for me, it was hair loss, craving of edible chalk, and some other symptoms that I will explain in other videos. But for this one, I'm talking about chalk cravings and fibroid. So it happened a few years ago. It says 6, 7 years ago. I can't really recall, but no longer than 6 or 7 years. I just started craving chalk, and I would remember that that particular chalk that I'm craving, my stepmother has sent me to buy it when I was just a child, and I started looking for it because I now live in Lagos. That was back then in Delta State. I now live in Lagos, and I all of a sudden I remembered this chalk, and I was craving it, and the smell of dust and chalk was pleasing to me. That's how I found it in Lagos market. It's usually called Iko in Delta, and in Lagos I realized it's called Unzu and Ulo. I usually crave the flat one, the flat one that you lick. There are two types. So there's one salty, sandy one that some people eat, but the one that I always crave is that flat one. So that's how I buy it all the time. Each time I go to the market to get foodstuffs, I must buy it. I enjoy eating it like I'm eating chicken. That was my experience. I didn't like that I was eating it, but I enjoy it. And it has a way of messing up my bag and my things. I did not like it, but I could not stop because it was an addiction. I was addicted to it like someone who was drug addicted. So after a while, I did not know that it had anything to do. I didn't know I had fibroid this time. The cravings just came. So after a while, that was the same period I noticed. Anytime I'm on my period, I'm menstruating, it's usually heavy. That's not. It doesn't take long. Like this time now, it takes longer than the usual. So now it's beginning to get to 7 days, 8 days, 9 days. I'm still seeing my period. So the second and third day of my period is usually heavy. The fourth day, a little bit. Then fifth, sixth day, it still keeps coming small, 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 small till the ninth day. The period doesn't stop. So that's how I kept losing blood. And I thought, for a start, I thought I was healthy. I was releasing blood well like a healthy woman. It did not really bother me until after a while, because I was working then. I was doing 9 to 5. After a while, when I'm going to work, I get stained, embarrassed, and people kept telling me, please, your dress is stained, your dress is stained. And it was really embarrassing. And I was like, why am I getting stained like a 12 years old who just started seeing her period? And I needed a good pad to hold my blood, because the always I was using was not holding it anymore, because man, I needed something stronger. So I remember there's a friend that had fibroid, and she told me she usually have a heavy bleeding, and she uses diapers and some other kind of pads. So I reached out to her and asked her, please, can you tell me the kind of pad you use so I can use your pad, and explain to her how heavy my period is, and I'm hardly comfortable at work anytime I'm on my period. She was like, are you sure it's not fibroid? I said, no, it cannot be fibroid. So she told me the name of her pad, and I went to look for the pad. I did not want to believe I had fibroid. I looked for the pad, I got it, nothing changed. I had to go for measure cup. If you know what a measure cup is, you know. And then even with using that measure cup, I have to support with tissue. And then I will not go out anytime on my period for the second and third day, which is usually heavy. I will not go out because I don't want to embarrass myself. So that's how I kept going. Because I was stubborn to believe. I did not want to believe I had fibroid. I don't know what happened. It's like this incident just happened for me to forcefully go and check what was going on, if I actually had fibroid. I went to this laboratory not because I wanted to check. I went for another reason. So a prophet was making a general prayer. Back then I was having some pain in my breast, a little pain. And when this man was praying, he was saying, you have cancer, every pain disappear, be destroyed, blah, blah, blah. And I said amen. And because I was feeling pain, I assumed it was me. God forbid though. I was saying God forbid then, but that can't be cancer. So I was like, let me just go and check. I went to the laboratory and they checked, and the lab guy said I have no lump and there's no cancer. There's nothing of such. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, wait, let me just use the opportunity to check if there's fibroid. That was how I checked, and lo and behold, I have fibroids in me. I think it was about 2 or 3 he mentioned back then, years back. So that's why I went home worried, and I spoke to my friend about it, and she said, I told you it was fibroid, but you didn't want to believe it. She was like, I should not be scared, and that fibroid is not death sentence, and it's manageable. I was like, okay. And so that's how I started looking for ways to help myself. I started doing a lot of research. So from the research, that's how I found out that it was this fibroid that was causing the cravings, the chalk and the ulo cravings, the edible chalk cravings. It was the fibroid that was causing it, because I was losing a lot of blood. And when you are losing a lot of blood, you are having short of iron as well. So I was losing iron. So if you don't have iron, that's when you start losing your hair. And that's when you start craving unimaginable things. That was when I found that it was the fibroid. And so I went on to look for what I can do, supplements I can take, hoping that I will build back my iron. I went to get if you know reload women's supplements. It had iron in it. It had some good supplements in it. I thought I needed all that, you know. Yeah, I of course I needed supplements to support my health to be better, hoping that fibroid will reduce and my period and my bleeding will reduce. So I went to get that reload supplement. For I took it for 1 going to 2 months. Surprisingly, the craving stopped. It did stop, but later on I stopped using the supplement and the cravings came back again, and it was double this time. I would literally go to the market because of Unzu back then. I had to go back to the supplement, but this time the cravings did not stop. So that's how I was taking supplements and taking chalk, taking edible chalk, taking supplements and taking it. It didn't work. It did not stop. So it got to a point where I had to upgrade my supplements, thinking maybe this is the supplements are not strong enough. I needed a higher grade. So I went to get this one on my screen now. This was more expensive than the reload. I got it. This one had vegetables, it had everything. I took it for like a month plus. Nothing changed. The cravings were still there. I ate the chalk like never before. After some time, I started feeling feverish, and I was like, oh, it's the normal malaria or typhoid. So usually I will go for malaria medicines. When I take it for the first day, I'll be fine. So And the rest is I'll just complete the drugs for completing sake. I will complete them and I'll be fine. But this time, malaria did not go away. Oh. And so I had to go for, I was like, okay, maybe it's typhoid. So I went for typhoid medicines. Nothing worked. And I was scared at this point. Like, what could be happening? I have treated malaria, I've treated typhoid. I'm not healing. I'm not getting better. So I went to the hospital for test. I did a complete blood test, and I took it to the pharmacist, and I was told it's loss of iron. Yeah, I was told it's loss of iron. That's why I mentioned earlier that the reload had iron. Maybe that's why the craving stopped. So it was loss of iron, and I was given iron syrup at the pharmacy. This one here, it was just iron syrup, and I took it for about 5 days before I got myself back. Surprisingly, the feverish feeling just went off like that, because for this loss of blood to make me to start feeling feverish, it's because I was losing more blood. My body can no longer take it. My blood was reducing by every month my period comes, that I had to start getting anemic. That was anemia. When you start feeling feverish because of loss of blood and iron. Yeah, I was getting anemic. After a while, if I don't take that syrup, I start feeling feverish again. I have to go back to it. I start taking iron. I was beginning to behave like a sickler, and I had to support myself all the time with that iron syrup until December 2024 here. I decided to go for fibroid surgery because the fibroid has caused a lot of imbalance in my body. I was losing my hair. My hair was literally breaking, and it doesn't grow longer than where it is. And a lot of discomfort in my body that I cannot explain now on this video. I have been able to do this surgery. Thank God for the courage to go for this, to do this, because I have been afraid to go for this surgery for years. I've been struggling. I've been taking a lot of herbs, hoping it to shrink the fibroid. It never worked. I have been trying to escape this surgery. I thought I was going to die. I thought a lot of things are going to happen in my body as a woman. Things will change. And I spoke to my doctor and people here, and I was encouraged to do it. And I thank God I have done it in January 2025 now. And it's just, this is 2 weeks and 3 days now after my surgery. I'm healing well, and I'm grateful to God. If you enjoyed my story and you want to hear more about my fibroid journey and other complications I had, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.